Hello friends, today I will discuss the ceiling fan real connections and the various parts available there. In this case, the stator, rotor, bearings, that is ball bearings, double revolving field theory, rotor flux, main winding, this is also called running winding, whose gauge is 27 and the number of turns are 350 turns. Auxiliary winding, this is also called the starting winding. Gauge of the winding is 38 and the number of turns are 250, and the capacitor used or permanently connected value is 2.5 microfarads and voltage is 400 volts AC. And this ceiling fan was invented by Philip Dale in 1982. So here let me consider first what is the capacitor connection diagram with the ceiling fan. So this is the connection diagram. This is called starting winding. This is also called the auxiliary winding, and that is connected in series with the capacitor, and this is called running winding. This is also called the main winding, whereas this is called rotor, and this is the switch, and this is the single phase AC supply. When we look at the real main winding and this running winding, that is main winding and the starting winding and running winding, that is running winding means main winding, starting winding means auxiliary winding. So this is the core, and the core has the slots like this. There are inner side slots, similarly outer side slots. In the inner side slots, auxiliary winding will be connected like this, and the outer side slots are fitted with the main winding like this, and this is the shaft through which these windings are connected properly to the supply like this, and this is called the stator. So to explain the operation of this, we take the double revolving field theory. In the double revolving field theory, there are two fluxes. One is called forward flux, the other is called the backward flux. When the forward flux sweeps the rotor surface, it produces a torque in the forward path. Similarly, when the backward flux sweeps the rotor conductors, it produces a torque in the reverse direction or backward direction, that is called backward torque. So without auxiliary winding, the net flux or the net torque acting on the rotor is zero. Once the auxiliary winding is connected, that is called the starting winding like this, in series with a capacitor like this. So suppose the rotor rotates in the clockwise direction due to the presence of this auxiliary winding, then the rotor continues to rotate in the clockwise direction. Let me simplify the real-time diagram of the ceiling fan. This is the fixed position of the shaft, and this shaft carries the two ball bearings like this here and here, and there are two cups here, and the upper part is nothing but inside is called the rotor. It is a steel material, and the bottom one is a plastic one, and that is connected to this ball bearings on the shaft like this, and this rotor cup and the flywheel are bolted here, and the rotor will carry the blades, that is wings of the fan, to get the air. And similarly at the center, on the shaft, there is a fixed position of the stator, which has been observed that this is nothing but a core consists of two types of slots, inner slots and the outer slots. Inner slots carries the starting winding, and whereas the outer slots carries the main winding, that is called running winding. This is what in simple the single phase induction motor connection. When we look at the real diagram, it will be like this. These are the wires coming from the auxiliary winding and the main winding, and from capacitor like this via this shaft, which is hollow inside, and the capacitor value used here is 2.5 microfarads. And if you look at this, this is the stator like this, and this stator is on the shaft like this, and above the stator and below the stator there are two ball bearings like this here and here, and this stator is covered by a cup. That top cup or around this whatever covers is called the rotor, and that rotor ring is nothing but a steel, and bottom one is nothing but again is a envelope, and that's a plastic, and above also there is a cup over this rotor. So in simple, the rotor surrounds the stator that is present here. This is the rotor, and the rotor carries the blades, that is wings, to get the air. This is the bottom gear. This is the top ball bearing. This is bottom ball bearing. This is top ball bearing. Once the supply is given to the stator, it produces a flux, and that cuts the rotor conductors which are surrounded the stator like this. Then the rotor experiences the torque and it starts rotating around the stator due to the presence of these ball bearings. And ball bearings are like this. One is at the top of the stator, the other is below the stator. And this is the stator, and this is the rotor ring, which is a steel, and that will carry the wings also. Brackets, they are also called wings of the fan, to get the air. Those wings may be metal or sometimes plastic. So when we look at the original diagram, it will be like this. Parts of ceiling fan means like this: base plate, down rod, housing cover, motor, and then blades. These are the blades, pull switch, etc. So the size of the wings depends upon the size of the room. So if the room measurement is 75 square feet, the length of the fan is 36 inches. If the area of the room is 144 square meter, then the blade is 42 inches is used for 76 to 144 square feet. Similarly, 44 inches blade is used for 145 to 225 square feet, and then for 54 inches used for 226 to 400 square feet. So these are the standard length of the blades that are used, or wings used, in the ceiling fan. This is the flywheel, that is a bottom cup attached to the rotor. Let me summarize once. In this single phase induction motor, especially in the ceiling fan, a rotor surrounds the stator, and the rotor will have the connected to the ball, supported by ball bearings at the bottom and at the top. So stator is fixed to the shaft, and the stator is in fixed condition, and this stator has the ball bearings, top one ball bearing, the other is bottom, and the rotor carries the blades, and the size of the blades depends upon the area of the room, and there is a capacitor used for starting this single phase induction motor, that is ceiling fan.